My name is H.A. Goodman, and I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. I hope you like my new Maryland poster. Between Bruce Lee, Marilyn Monroe, the Ramones, Tony Gwynn, the great Walter Payton, and Winston Churchill, I think my wall is complete. We'll see if I add anybody else. It's happening, ladies and gentlemen, and President Trump has almost officially wrestled control away from President Obama's administration. He almost has his administration to himself. Presidents have the luxury, usually, of going into the presidency with their Department of Justice, with their cabinet officials working for them. You saw this with every other president up until Trump. Investigations that predate Trump into both the Clinton Foundation and Hillary Clinton, but also investigations that are fabricated. The probes into Clinton's numerous crimes, those aren't fabricated at all. There's evidence there. James Comey stated that no reasonable prosecutor would prosecute even though there's evidence of violations of legal statutes. With Trump, there was no evidence of anything. I explained that in my last segment and pretty much every segment I do. He just vetoed Congress right now, and the Mueller probe will not be public, even though the House voted to do so. It won't be public because it's going to be summarized. The House and Senate resolutions, or the congressional resolution to overturn Trump's national security declaration, won't happen because he vetoed the resolution. And these are two of the biggest issues in politics, in addition to the dumb Mueller report. Well, that's what I'm saying, the Mueller report, but in addition to the whole Trump-Russia nonsense, there's no evidence for. The Steele dossier and CrowdStrike were all linked to Hillary Clinton's campaign money and the Democratic Party. But think about that for a second. Two of the major stories of the day, and Trump basically presides over both of them. He vetoed Congress. They can't stop his national emergency declaration. Why? Because there actually is a national emergency. And I say this from the vantage point of somebody who has friends who are dreamers. I know dreamers. They tell me, I hope Trump helps us out. I explained in one of my last segments prior to this one about Trump's veto. I said Trump would veto. He did today. And I stated long before the national emergency declaration took place that he would declare a national emergency. And it happened. But it is the heinous crimes and trafficking and the tragedy that's taking place at that location. YouTube policies won't even allow me to get into it. I can't even discuss the specific crimes, the trafficking of everything from illegal narcotics to individuals to innocent human beings. I can't even get in depth. But if the rebuttal is, well, we don't need a wall, it's a vanity wall. No, it's not. General John Kelly even stated it. It's an existential issue. The problems of the trafficking of illegal narcotics, everything from narcotics to individuals, crime, that's an existential issue and threat to the United States of America. General John Kelly stated that in 2014 when he was President Obama's general in that region. He even stated that we are so depleted in terms of resources that sometimes he actually he used to see criminal activity take place and just allow it to happen, which is this is a Defense One article. You can look it up. Just type in Defense One, General John Kelly here. Let's look it up really quickly. But the Mueller report is going to be a summary, ladies and gentlemen. I've been saying this for a long time. The Democrats don't get it. They don't understand. People on the left are like, he worked with Russia to buy Facebook ads. But poor Hillary, who's running again. Clinton's going to run again. Poor Hillary, she lost the swing states because of the Facebook ads. There's no evidence that anyone lost any swing states because of Facebook ads. There's no evidence that that Trump colluded with Russia in any way, shape, or form. By the way, the Trump Jr. meeting is a non-issue. It wasn't illegal, nor was it an example of collusion. There's Natalia Veselnitskaya is not Putin. Actually, Vladimir Putin met with who? Bubba Bill. Hi, Vladimir. Hi, Vladimir Putin. Oh, is that you right now? Hold on one second. Hi there, that was Jeff Sessions. I had to get that. Anyway, where the heck was I? John Kelly. Here we go. So, this is Vox, of course. Trump's DHS pick is a retired general who warns Latin America could pose an existential threat to the U.S. He actually didn't say that. Exactly. He didn't call the entire region an existential issue. But this is Vox. So, John Kelly. But this is a Defense One article. Defense One. So, getting back to before the great Jeff Sessions called me. The Mueller report's going to be a summary. Democrats don't get it. It's a summary. So William Barr is going to look at it. He's going to be like, anyone who wasn't indicted, I'm going to summarize and then not give the information to the American public. If Trump or anyone else is an American citizen, well, Trump is an American citizen. If an American citizen is not indicted, if there is no criminal prosecution or no attempt to prosecute an American citizen, which there wasn't for Trump, because he wasn't even under investigation, according to James Comey. So if he doesn't get indicted, which he won't, that information is protected, classified, not given to Congress or the American people, nor should it be. You don't need, question marks exist. All this suspicion for Trump, he didn't break any laws, there's no evidence he did, there's no evidence of collusion, he wasn't indicted, and that's it. The report's not even going to focus on him. The people who were indicted have nothing to do with the whole collusion narrative anyway. Conversely, Clinton actually had top secret intelligence flow onto servers outside of the United States government, special access program intelligence that emanated within an intranet called JWICS, Joint Worldwide Intelligence Communication System. But anyway, top general says Mexico border security now existential threats to U.S. Molly O'Toole, July 5th, 2014. In comparison to other global threats, the near collapse of societies in the hemisphere associated with the associate criminal drug flows are frequently viewed to be of low importance. Many argue these threats are not existential and do not challenge our national security. I disagree. Then he said, this is not hilarious, this is sad. He goes, last year he said his task force was unable to act on nearly 75% of illicit trafficking events. I simply sit and watch it go by. Everything I say is public record. I don't use like message boards with super secret, top secret MySpace agents. Okay, everything I say is, and my analysis is based on public record. I have no sources. I've just been published a lot of places. I'm a journalist, a writer, and that's it. And I have my analysis and my viewpoint on things. And more often than not, I'm right. Clinton lost. I told everyone on the left she would lose. They didn't listen. She lost. They blame Russia. I said the Russia thing is a hoax. It's nonsense. It's the epitome of this bizarre fantasy world that Democrats wanted to create. I said it would lead to nothing. The day the special counsel was appointed, I did a YouTube segment. I said it would lead to nothing, and it was complete nonsense, and that's been true. And I'm telling you, eventually, I wasn't right about the House, fine, but you know what? I didn't think people were stupid enough to vote for politicians that I knew would not implement, would not even introduce a bill for Medicare for all and all that. If people are actually losing their lives because there's no Medicare for all, why hasn't AOC or anyone else on the left, anyone else in the House, the Democratic-controlled House, why haven't they introduced a bill Just asking any of the wonderful pundits who don't like me, asking the Twitter bots on the left, why hasn't a bill been introduced to implement Medicare for all? Maybe because it's not feasible economically. Maybe because it's just a carrot used to motivate voters on the left to vote Democrat no matter what. They're not interested in that. Bernie already had a bill in 2017. That's what the rebuttal was to my critique. Oh, well, he already has a bill, and on his website, it's feasible. It's economically sound. Well, then why don't they vote for it? No, they haven't even introduced a bill, nor have they championed Bernie's bill. They're lying. They're not going to go ahead and abolish ICE. Same thing. They're not going to even impeach Trump. Basically, they're not going to do anything except a resolution for a Green New Deal that is a joke. And I explained it would rely on the mining of cobalt, lithium, and nickel, which would decimate indigenous communities in the Congo and Latin American countries, in Asia. It would decimate Latin American communities in Argentina, Bolivia, Chile, where lithium is mined, and in the Congo, where most of the world's cobalt is located, where, by one estimate, 35,000 children are risking their lives mining cobalt for AOC's wonderful electric cars, because the car vehicle batteries can't run safely without cobalt, lithium, and nickel. These are metals needed for electric car vehicle batteries to run. But don't worry about the indigenous communities in Africa or Latin America or in Asia. Don't worry. Because Democrats have the plan. They have a plan, and it's the Green New Deal resolution that they're petrified of voting on. McConnell threatened to vote on it. They were crying, no, you can't vote on it. But two things happened. So Trump issues first veto of his presidency, says resolution puts countless Americans in danger. I do agree with that. Trump issues first veto. And I say this from somebody who I want a path to citizenship for undocumented immigrants and for dreamers especially. I've known absolutely wonderful people who are undocumented immigrants, but I have friends who are dreamers, and they're amazing people, and I want them to become citizens. But Democrats don't, apparently, because Trump actually was willing to negotiate that, and they didn't even want to negotiate. They would rather hurt their own constituents than actually negotiate with Trump. So that's yet another call from Jeff Sessions. I won't answer that. But this is Defense One. Read that article. Very, very interesting. Just look it up. Top General says Mexico's border security, now existential threat to U.S. Read that. That's one of the reasons why Trump is able to veto, and the courts will not side. The courts will absolutely not side with the Senate and the House, with Congress, because they're not going to own the madness and chaos at that location. They're just not going to do it. There's too much going on, and the rebuttal is, well, most of the flows of illegal narcotics come from the ports of entry. Well, so what? Most is not all, and if it's 80% or 70%, then 20 to 30% are places that the wall would prevent or stop or impede that flow of criminal behavior. That's the issue. That's the issue. It's kind of like, well, I don't even want to get into it. But the Mueller report, like I said, there's two issues that Trump is just showing that he basically runs the show on, and he's, even though Democrats have the media, they have the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC, they have the House. They still can't. They had 2 years, a Mueller probe, they had a special counsel, they had investigated, they covered up Clinton's crimes, and yet, you see Trump finally coming into his own as a president. And he is kind of displaying or showing the world that they said that I'm the boss. AOC said I'm the boss. Well, no, he's kind of showing that he's the boss right now. The Mueller report will remain hidden, secret, which it should be. The whole thing was fabricated from the beginning. The only thing we need to know is, was there evidence that Trump colluded with Russia? There was none. That's it. Or we need to know, was Trump indicted for any crime? If he wasn't indicted for any crime, and collusion is not a crime, but if there was a fraud committed or anything like that, and he wasn't indicted, that's it. Whereas the evidence, the public record evidence was enough to indict Clinton. Much less the fact that they didn't even interview Brian Pagliano, Justin Cooper, any of these people. We don't know how she transferred the top secret intelligence outside of the U.S. government. Now you have Lindsey Graham and the DOJ who are going after Rod Rosenstein regarding the 25th Amendment. Then you have a criminal investigation into Andrew McCabe, which is ongoing, grand jury investigation, criminal investigation into James Baker, the FBI's top lawyer who wanted to indict Clinton. You had Lisa Page's transcripts that are basically expose a grandiose, she spilled the beans on everyone. They have Peter Strzok's transcripts that said that, oh yeah, there was a consent agreement. A consent agreement, ladies and gentlemen, with the Justice Department under President Obama and Clinton's lawyers, that the Clinton Foundation emails would not be utilized as evidence. They wouldn't be able to even look at the Foundation emails. Then how do you know? My God. They took, okay, Comey took possession of Trump's tower servers, but didn't seize the DNC servers. Why? That was a much bigger issue. They were saying, oh, yeah, we were hacked by Russia. How do we know? Oh, well, we hired this firm to repeat our nonsense. Two of the biggest stories of the day, and Trump just grabs them by the McMaster, and it's unbelievable. Mueller probe ain't going to be public, nor should it be. It shouldn't even have been a probe to begin with. It was basically Clinton purchased her own investigation, and he vetoed Congress, which is kind of hilarious because Congress didn't make the case that there's no problems, there's no national security issue. They just don't want Trump to get funds needed through a national emergency. That's it. They voted for border security, and they deported 2.5 million human beings under President Obama, and they utilized ICE. So they're a bunch of hypocrites. All of this is about stopping Trump in some way, and then Trump just turned the tables. Two of the biggest topics of the day where Trump prevails. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Check out H82A below, and check out my Federalist articles below. Thank you so very, very much.